All right. Just gonna quickly slide around here. How's your night going so far?
So far, so good. Just getting kind of everything prepared for the upcoming tour. So just kind of going through everything, making sure I have all my cables and my amps are acting properly, and just going through all my gear, doing like some preventive maintenance kind of thing,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys got a um quite a road trip ahead, hey?
Yeah, it's going to be one of the longer ones that we've done, but it just kind of fell into place. We're going to be hopping on and doing a few support slots for a couple of other bands. And we're also going to be meeting up with a couple other bands that are just, going to be either we're headlining or sort of a co-headliner thing. So there's it's cool. It just kind of all fell together, and sometimes I don't recommend anybody go on tour for longer than like 6 weeks ever. But sometimes when, certain opportunities arise and you get, offers or whatever to do some shows with some other bands, that's always fun. And, so I'm definitely excited about it, even though it is a longer run. And not very many days off. That's probably the thing I'm most excited about. As long as my voice holds out, I should be fine. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some things that you do for for your voice to protect it?
Well, I just tried to. We're gonna do like a couple of days of rehearsal and then a dress rehearsal. So what I really like to do is, if my voice is going to blow out, I like to try and maybe go ahead and get that out of the way, and then get a couple of days to heal up, and then it's usually fine. I've been doing a little bit of vocal tracking here recently, trying to wrap up the final touches on the album and things like that. So I'm kind of already there, but yeah, you just kind of ease yourself into it. You know what I mean? So say like the first night at rehearsal or the first go around at rehearsal, I'll try to sing most of the set. And then the second go around, I'll sing some parts that I may have had some troubles with or something like that. But then I'm just concentrating mostly on what I'm doing on the guitar at that point, just to make sure it's all dialed in as best as I can get it. And yeah, your body kind of tells you, your throat kind of tells you, it's when it's raw and orange juice sounds like a really bad idea, you probably should take a break.
Absolutely. That's awesome. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm Casey with Pinecase. Tonight I am joined with the one and only Dallas Toler Wade from Narcotic Wasteland, my darling. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
I
having
know
me.
we were already chatting, but I thought I better give you a quick introduction and make sure everybody knows who and why we're here. So, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah. Behind the scenes, we're having a quick chat about what it's going to look like on the road up to Decimate Metal Fest. Would you mind letting the people know what that trip's going to look like for you guys?
Yeah, we're starting off in California. I think the first show is the 31st of May. Pretty sure. And then we're doing some California dates. We've got Seattle, we've got Portland. We have a few Canada dates that included. And then we swoop back down through Montana, I believe, and then go like towards Colorado, down into Texas. There's a good bit of Texas dates. There's a good bit of Florida dates. We hadn't done a whole lot of East Coast recently, so we're going to also be sort of hitting up the East Coast and kind of working our way up that way as well. So it's going to be pretty extensive. The last tour that we did, we tried to go places that we hadn't gone before. And on this one, of course, we're going to still continue to do that, but we're also going to go to some places we haven't been to in a while, like maybe a year or two, a couple of years. and we're very excited about the fest as well.
Well, I know the fest is super excited to hear, like, have you guys there. I was at the fundraiser last Saturday, and yeah, the crowd was already wild, but there was a lot of talk and a lot of excitement about you guys coming up. That's for sure. Or like you, well, I shouldn't say like not you specifically, but like also you specifically.
Right, right. Yeah, the whole thing is going to be killer, and there's going to be a lot of well, there's going to be a lot of killer entertainment there. Period. You know, that's what festivals are supposed to be about.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have other festivals that are happening after Decimate?
There is something going on in New Hampshire, not New Hampshire, Delaware. There's something, anyways. We're Malignancy is headlining it, and we're playing it, and it's like another metal fest. I can't remember the details of it. There's been so much going on, just me trying to get ready for all this stuff. So I'm just like kind of, I've got a little bit of brain fry going on when it comes to all that.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, yeah, it's just been a little bit overwhelming. And also we have we just finished up and going to be releasing very soon a new single called Barbarian. And so I've been working on the final touches of that, making sure everything's ready with that. And so yeah, it's been kind of hectic here. I don't know what the hell's going on.
When you would, like, as a musician, I have so many questions, but just for like Barbarian specifically, how does that happen? Like, what kind of things inspire you?
Well, you know, music is one of those strange phenomenons that you can't really kind of put your finger on as to why humankind has been so fascinated with it. But it does this thing and creates these sort of feelings and emotions inside of us. And it is one of those sort of unexplainable things that makes us like distinguishably human, you know? And I don't know, that's one of the fascinations with it, but I don't know. I guess my original fascination with it was probably being like 6 years old, singing into a brush and dancing around my room like a maniac or something. Thinking, you know, when I grew up, I kind of wanted to be like Ace Frehley. You know?
Yes.
Like he was very impressionable on a 6-year-old Dallas.
Yeah, very cool.
But then later on, I got into stuff like Rush, and I got into a lot of course, you know, all the usual suspects, you know, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Uriah Heep, and all that stuff. But yeah, you know, I think that's, I guess, I don't know, it's very unexplainable. The whole music phenomenon is just like unexplainable. It feels good, it sounds cool, and it seems to bring people together. And that's like, okay, I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah. Yeah, I second that absolutely. It's interesting when I come across people that don't listen to music, and I'm like, what? Like, this is the most therapeutic part of my day. Like, you know, and it doesn't really matter what mood I'm in or what headspace I'm in. It's like probably the most consistent thing in my life. So I can
Yeah.
appreciate what you're saying. So 6 years
Yeah.
old, what was like the first like instrument that you picked up? Has it always been kind of the same thing, or did you start off somewhere else?
Well, my grandfather and one of my cousins and my dad actually played. My dad played bass guitar. My grandfather played guitar, mostly, you know, acoustic stuff, and my cousin Johnny, he played guitar and played bass and stuff like that. So, you know, starting off, I wasn't like I knew a little bit about it, but the thing that really got me into wanting to perform in a band was drums. So I started out early on with the drums. And then after about 4 or 5 years of that, I started getting more into metal stuff, like anything like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Metal Church, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, all the usual suspects. And I was just like, oh man, I got to pick up a guitar. This is insane. I love this stuff. So I started out kind of on the drums, and then got really fascinated with the guitar, and before you know it, my drums just kind of started collecting dust.
Oh
I was
wow.
just playing
Yeah.
playing this all the time.
Yeah. Once you picked it up, that was it. Hey. Neat.
Yeah, pretty much. And actually, real quick, I can show you something just really quickly.
Please, no, take your time.
Um, I'll be 50 this year.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I've had this since I was 14 years old.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in really good shape for the year. It's a 1987, I think. Although BC Rich was kind of weird about their cereal plates. I think they just had like a Tupperware full of these backing plates that has the serial number on them. But I
Right.
got it in 88, and from what I can decipher from on here, it's probably an 87 or an 88. But yeah, it's in pretty good shape, and it's been through all kinds of stuff. Of course, actually replaced the electronics in it about 3 years ago with brand new stuff. So,
But if that's the only thing that you've replaced, I mean, for 35, 36 years old, that's looking pretty beaut.
yeah, I just kept everything oiled up, and of course, strings. It's really needs some frets at this point. It's starting to get kind of, the frets are kind of bad, but when you play one for that long, but yeah, it's got relatively new electronics, and it kicks ass. I used it. Actually used it for the rhythm guitars on the single that we released called "Sex, Lies, and DNA." We actually had a video for that as well. But yeah, I used that to track. I would never take that thing on the road. Hell no. But it sounds really good in the studio, and it's comfy to sit with. So I'm happy.
What
And
a beautiful nostalgic moment to think that you've had that for that long and it's still doing what it needs to do and you can like bring it back around into like anything of, current. Like that's what an instrument is for and it's really, yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's pretty rad.
cool, yeah. And the funny thing about that guitar is if I feel like I'm getting a little bit in a lull, or if I'm working on something that I'm having a little bit of difficulty with, I go back to that one, and it always pulls through for me.
Oh, it's like
Probably because it's still, in a way, the most comfortable thing I own, because I've been playing it longer than anything else in my arsenal. So as soon as I pick it up, it's like, welcome home. This feels familiar. I think I might have played this guitar before. Yeah.
just a few times, no big deal.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, like a receiving blanket almost, right? I mean, that's yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, right? Yeah. I was gonna say you're almost, I mean, I don't want to date you, but at 50 years old, we're talking about being an institution in the music scene. Your catalog is pretty extensive, and to have a piece like that, I know a lot of people are probably sitting on the other end of the camera being like, I want to get my hands on that. Like, yeah, it's pretty iconic. Very cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What when you play venues, what's your favorite style? Are you like more of a, intimate dude, or you like when everyone shows up and shows out?
I like all of it. Um, I'm really there just to play through loudspeakers. But no, I like, over the years I've played quite a variety of different places with different bands, and I'd have to say that, I mean, a concert's a concert. I just enjoy playing live and having the opportunity to play live, and having the health, mentally or physically or otherwise, to play live and all that stuff. This stuff to me is a blessing. It's like there's so many people that can't do it, and I just feel very thankful that I've been able to do it for as long as I've been able to do it, and no end in sight.
Yeah, it's a
Maybe like a
beautiful
little
thing right
mini
there.
vacation after the 6 weeks run. I hope that I can squeeze in like a little mini vacation for at least a week. Just give me a week to sit around and play video games, please. But
Sit
yeah,
around and play video games.
You
That's
know,
hilarious.
something like that. maybe go on a trip or something.
You know what though? Even in like its simplest form, like not to talk about me because people are here for you, but in class the other day we were talking about like self-care things and the amount of like stress relief and personal space and time that comes with like detaching and just allowing it just to be entertainment when it comes to video games. Like it's actually more therapeutic than people realize. So,
Yeah, decompression is very important, and sometimes when things get so stressful, like, and I think a lot of us are going through it in order to, hustle and make a buck and keep the lights on and all that stuff. We really got to bust our asses right now, and there isn't a lot of time for thinking about one's mental health. There's no room in it in our world. There's no room for that, and it sucks, and we all feel it. And luckily, playing aggressive music helps me get some shit off my chest, because I don't know what I would do without it. I really don't. And also, enjoying video games and reading about stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? But everybody needs that rest time. And we all kind of need to stand up on that a little bit, just so we all get what we need. Because, yeah, we all do want to bust our asses and work and do all that stuff, and all that's great. But we also got to allow ourselves to rest, like mentally and physically, recharge. Very important.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I asked somebody what I said, how's it going? How's work? In the same sentence. And
Oh, shit.
they said, my job has nothing to do with my day. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. Because we're so used to like attaching your job to like, it is hourly, taking up, consuming a lot of your time. But I just thought it was such a powerful thing that they have the capacity to like completely detach from their paycheck and reserve their life for their life. And I was just like, holy, like I didn't even, I just like, that's amazing. Because we're so used to being like, how's it going? How's work? How's your day? What's happening at work? But really, like, we're so much more than what happens in that space, in somebody else's space, if we're not able to like work for ourselves, right? So
yeah. And I think I definitely, when it comes to working for someone else, I would have to say too, there isn't a lot of room for one to heal their mental or physical self. It's just go, 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 go. And I think a lot of the corporations are starting to feel that we're getting sick of the shit. And I think a lot of people that I know anyways, they don't mind the hard work. They just want to be rewarded properly for it. I think that's really the problem,
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Pay these people.
Enough to at least like buy groceries without remortgaging your house. My goodness.
Oh yeah, totally. And then, or having to eat, basically the worst garbage ever that just, creates even other problems down the road.
Yeah, if we could sort out the food situation, it would probably help, like, everything from dentist bills to gout. I mean, it's a plethora of things. We just haven't, as North Americans, haven't dialed that in yet. Like, we're fixing symptoms and not causes, right? Like,
yeah, in a way. And there's a lot of the, it just feels like that it's definitely not about the cure. It's all about the medicine. And it's funny, that's a lyric in one of our songs, Pharmaculture, but I can't really take credit for it. It reminds me of a skit that Chris Rock did a million years ago, talking about He was like, man, they ain't going to cure AIDS or something like that. You know what I mean? But it was a very powerful statement. There is no money in the cure. And, you have all these just people in bed together, and they don't care about our health. They just want to make more money. And they know they can make more money by selling us stuff that just sort of patches a more problematic situation. They're just kind of patching it and sending you down the road. And I just don't think that's completely the answer. I mean, of course, if somebody's in a lot of physical pain, then they may need some help. But beyond that, there's just so much, in my opinion, in a way, like malpractice with that, where they're really just giving you some happy pills and sending you down the road.
But that's the money machine, right? I mean, if they
Yeah.
solve the problems, much like the skit, then there's no room for taxing everybody in every piece of the way, right? I mean, it's like I was saying today, it's while we're having this conversation, I was like, how many times do I have to donate to, and I'm not gonna knock cancer, people pass away from it all the time. MS people are hurting. I'm not gonna sit here and pick one over the other. But I mean, we've heard the same commercials now my whole life, and I'm sure we've made some movement in some of them, but we're talking like billions of dollars to be sitting in a very similar situation. That's by design. I mean, there's a reason why they hold back progress, right? It's taxable.
Yeah. Yeah. If we could just convince the entire world that we just need to stop giving rich assholes all of our money, we could take the power back. That's how I feel about it. Oh, I'm going to get shut down. But that's how I feel about it, because, one of the things that I talk about in my new single is how we're kind of getting into this sort of oligarchic situation, with the way things are. And I want no part of it. I think it's disgusting. And, these people are fooling themselves if they think in the scheme of the universe that their green piece of paper is going to mean anything.
Yeah.
But they are using it as a means to sort of control shit, and it's not cool. And the song touches on that a little bit, but it also touches on, how the fact that I've never needed any, sort of government or religious sort of indoctrination to tell me how to be a good person. You know what I mean? I figured that out on my own. I feel very confident in my moral center, and I don't want any part of this crazy ass society. So I'm just going to be a freaking nomad and play metal. So that's kind of what that's about.
It's funny when I used to hear people be like, I'm moving to the bush. That's it. Like, pack up the kids. We're out of here. We're just going to grow our own vegetables. And I was like, you've lost your mind. And now I'm like, okay, where do we start? Like, if I grow carrots and you grow potatoes, right? Like, okay, we got that part down. Like, who's gonna deal with the cattle, right? Like, who's growing the hay? Like, for real, because it just gets scarier and scarier. And it's not just the food, and it's not just the taxes. It's the conversations that are happening, and you can see like the pressure building from people. They're like, we've had enough with this space. We've had enough with Gordon Food Services to Moxie's or whatever, not to hate on Moxie's, but like whatever, right? And you start seeing people taking out their front lawns and adding vegetable gardens. And it's like, okay, like it's okay
That's
to
really
let
cool.
the
That
steam
would be
out,
really
right?
great. I think that would be really awesome. I hope that we get to grow some tomatoes this year at least. Last year I did a little bit, but yeah, I think all that stuff is really cool, and it's so delicious too if you grow your own stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have a veggie place that I go, and it's a bit of a drive. It's a decent drive, but I'm pretty sure the amount of money that I save it covers my gas. Like, bar none. It's like an hour drive away. But for a big, huge bag of peppers for like, whatever, $10 out of a warehouse and they're grown down the road and I don't have to worry about much. Like when you cut out the piece all the way from Mexico, they last for, 6 to 8 weeks in your fridge. Like I'll do the
Mhm.
drive. It's not that big of a deal, make an adventure out of it or whatever. Like, um, is crazy. I've seen people put up those veggie gardens too in their yard and then had people in the neighborhood be like, "That's ugly. Like, where's their lawn? Their useless lawn." It's crazy how as a society we get stuck on aesthetics over function.
I know, and it's absolutely beautiful
Hmm.
and it's functional. I would have to tell my neighbor, "Hey, why don't you shut the hell up and have a tomato?
Here's a tomato.
Don't be talking to me like that on my property. Get the hell out of here." Well, I'll just go old man on him. I'll just go old 50-year-old man on him. Just take a tomato and shut the hell up.
All the picture
It's
is
like I
like you
don't give a
throwing tomato. No, we'd never waste food like that though. But like, yeah, no, it's the only way to educate people is like one at a time, right? One tomato at a time, like one conversation at a time.
Yeah, damn it. Evolution was always such a horribly slow process, I've always said.
Yeah, totally.
One
Yeah.
heirloom tomato at a time. Does the heirloom make the evolution go just a little bit faster?
The heirlooms. Aren't
Anyway,
those
I'm being
beautiful though,
silly
for
now.
real? I mean, that's art in itself, right? Like, um, oh gosh,
The orange ones
seriously.
are freaking amazing.
But is it revolution that we need, or is it like, do we need to go like back a little bit? Like it's almost like we've gone too far. Like you know what I mean? Like ditch some of the. I mean, technology is great and it has its place, but I almost feel like we need to like pump the brakes on it a little bit and head backwards. Like I could easily live in the 90s, but I mean, take it back further than that. Like if I had to, I don't know, ride my horse to I don't know what the purpose of leaving my property would be because I probably have all the resources I need at that point. But if that was the case, like I'm here for it. Like I'm ready because
Yeah, I think you're half right. I think,
mm,
and my favorite author, I watched the ridiculous BBC Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy earlier today, but
oh, wow.
he had a joke about how we still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea. And of course, this show happened a long time ago, but these things are cool. Don't get me wrong. This is another cell phone that I have for a different application. I mostly just use this for the camera and the set list. But
Okay.
I'll play audio on it. I don't ever even bring it online. It's really just an audio player. Anyhow, I want a better spaceship. Okay, I don't want this. These do their job. And as a matter of fact, I have a laptop that does the job of this even better. And I miss being able to actually type. You see these thumbs? I
Yeah.
can't type. I can't type on a phone with these damn thumbs, but
You want to
they're
get
just too
back to
big.
this.
Yes,
Okay.
it's just way more applicable, and it's just got way more on tap that way, and it will kind of keep you, because people would be on their laptops a lot anyways, but then they took the same damn thing and put it in your phone, and it's now you're always on it. You know what I mean? Like at least the laptop kind of give us a minute to step away. But that's kind of where I'm at. I think the technology we have is really cool, but I would really like to see it, directed more towards, I don't know, like I said, a better spaceship. We need a spaceship, damn it.
Yeah,
Instead of
I
instead of all this
yes.
consumer crap that doesn't even work half the time. I mean, how many times you got the updates and the patches, or your phone just freezes up, and people say, "Well, buy an Apple." It's like, whatever. I've seen this. I've seen the iPhones do the same crap. Don't
It's the
you know?
same phone. It looks exactly the same.
Basically, it's the same. It does
The
the
same
same
phone.
stuff.
They just keep changing the number. It's bizarre. I would love to go back to a space where like a camera was a camera and you could go in and look at all the different models and why and the lenses the same way that I would like a computer to be a computer and, a phone book to be yellow pages and for things to be tactile. I think that was a really, yeah, I agree with you. Like, let the technology be for something extreme that we haven't already experienced, instead of taking all the things we already have and putting it into a piece of glass.
Sure. And I mean, it definitely will have its applications, but we definitely need to divert some of our energy to some stuff that's more, the future of humankind based and less consumer based, I guess, would probably the the way to really to say it. Because I mean, the phones are useful, the cameras are kind of badass, and they do what they do very well for the most part. But still, I mean, it's like Douglas Adams says, really, you still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea? And that's funny. Now they have those new watch things, and it's really cool. But like I said, I'd rather see a better propulsion technology for vehicles on the planet. And that was another thing that I always thought about. The manufacturing of automobiles, the prices of it's completely outrageous, and people do have concerns with energy and stuff like that, and the environment. But we already have all these cars out there. Wouldn't it be smarter to maybe just retrofit some of the cars we already have with more fuel efficient engines?
Yeah, where was that idea? No kidding.
Something I've been thinking about over the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 decades when it was really a thing. It's like, well, can't we just do that? And actually, some companies do have even electric motor conversions for other cars. But that's it. Humankind, we need to kind of roll our sleeves up on this shit a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's just my 2 cents.
No, that's a pretty good 2 cents. Like, I've never actually had an independent idea about retrofitting vehicles, and I don't know, maybe that makes me ignorant. I spend a ton of time around vehicles, so the fact that I've never really thought about that in like decade sort of sense. I mean, we all add features to our vehicles that we have now, and like, mods and stuff like that. But like, if you could put like and this might be sacrilege, so please don't hate me for saying it, but if you could put like a battery powered engine in like a 454 Chevelle SS, like, I don't know, 71 or something. I mean, it might not sound the same, but at least we don't, at least those aren't sitting in the, well, I don't know if any of them are sitting in junkyards, but that's the right idea. Like, why aren't we reusing things in a proper recycling capacity?
Yeah, I mean, even if some of the performance cars are definitely going to be built for the track, and well, they may need some fuel, but that doesn't mean that if you're driving to the grocery store that's like 2 miles down the street, and there's already so many cars out there that the only thing that's really wrong with them is their drivetrain. There's something wrong with the drivetrain. So you just like fix that problem and like resell it at a lower cost, and you're repurposing that vehicle. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the point. It's already been forged into a vehicle. And I don't know. I guess probably some of that sort of Brazil / Max Headroom-ish Blade Runner-y kind of aesthetic gave me that idea, where it was like, it was very modern technology, but they just put the modern technology in the old thing, and it still worked, but they were just using recycled parts at that point.
Yeah. It makes absolute sense. I would love to see a society like that. And not just with that stuff. Like, I mean, we're so quick to demolish houses. Like, oh, that house isn't worth anything. And it's like this beautiful brick building because somebody wants to put up a bunch of like cookie cutter condominiums or something. Like, it'd be, I don't know. I'm sure that there's probably some out there, but that idea could be placed over top of so many different things. Yeah. And then we wouldn't be out here remortgaging things all the time or trying to get mortgages, right? If you buy it once and then, now you got me thinking.
A lot of buildings do get repurposed, but not always. And and yeah, I'm all with you with the cookie cutter thing and the McMansions and all that stuff. It's, you know, I'd much rather just and that's what I'm going to eventually do. I'm going to find me a little bit of an older place, not super old, but just kind of grab something a little retro and update it a little bit. That would be nice. As long as there's some land there and there's a few extra rooms and there's a building, because I do plan on like building a studio. That's one of the goals, like a standalone by itself studio in its own building. But there's a lot of stuff that's already out there, again, that, you know, you can, with a little bit of actual work, you can make pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really neat. I seen like a machine shop turn into a mushroom farm not long ago. It went from being like this heavy duty kind of mechanic space to like basically like peat moss and like a misting machine. And I just thought it was so neat, like the the mindset, right? It was like, this isn't working or this isn't making money or whatever. And it was just like this de-evolution to this beautiful situation. I was like, wow, like I think yeah, you're not alone in some of these thoughts. We just need more people to know about it for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, just about anything can be reused and repurposed in some way or another. And instead of, you know, using more resources, there's so much stuff that we've already built that we could just kind of refurbish and update and reuse. And
Do you feel like a lot of people do that with instruments? I mean, that's maybe like a really great example of a community that does do that, right? A lot of
oh
people
yeah,
like,
and old amplifiers too. There's a there's a lot of stuff, not just instruments and amplifiers, but there's a lot of people that definitely try to fully restore something back to its, you know, original thing, or they even upgrade it or find another use for it completely and gut it, and you know what I mean, like. But yeah, there is a lot of that going on, and that's another thing too. You know, there's a lot of stuff being just manufactured, and but yet there is already so many killer instruments on the used market. You know, so it's not really necessary. But I think we've kind of gotten ourselves into a position to where, or these companies have gotten themselves in a position where they have to, in order to stay afloat, they have to produce and sell an X amount of things.
right.
So, but you know, whatever. I'm tired of the corporations. Buy used. Take all your money out of the bank. No, I'm just not going to be extreme like that. But
Get your shoe
you know
boxes
what I
out,
mean,
everybody.
right? Just say no.
That's
It's mine. You
awesome.
can't have any of it.
That's crazy. Yeah. So if you
Yeah,
were
no,
to
I'm just
have
kidding.
like a perfect guitar, what would that look like? Do you have like a dream guitar? Or have you already held that?
I've had a lot of killer guitars over the years. I particularly like these two models back here, but that's because they're kind of modifiable to what I like. I always do modifications to them anyways. So maybe in the future and maybe in the next year or so, somebody will build me a custom. But my configuration is pretty simple. I don't like volume knobs in the way of my hands. I want that away from my hand. I want a basic bridge. I don't want no crazy stuff with, I don't know. I like a basic flying V, you know. They feel very comfortable to play, and that's pretty much it. I'm just kind of an old punk rocker. I don't need anything like super special to do what I do, you know, and it's kind of in a way better because if something really goes down and something gets broken or whatever, you know, I'll be able to find another one of these or something very similar to it in a pawn shop or in a guitar center, you know, and the show goes on.
Yeah.
It's not like super devastating, cancel the year, my guitar got broken. I'm not going to come outside for a year now. It's not like that.
That's it. I'm done. I quit. We're out.
Yeah. Nope. That's the last one. That's the last time. Yeah. No, but I really like those. There's certain things like the neck profile and all that. So I've been a fan of the Jacksons lately. I've purchased about 6 of them in the past 2 years, and I ended up selling 3 of them, and I kept 3 of them.
Oh.
They were my favorites, and yeah. Every now and then, I wish I did have a little bit more expendable income, because I'd get a lot more stuff. Reverb, man, they always popping up in my news feed, and I'm just like, oh, I really want that guitar. Damn it. You know.
Fair. Why do you think your music resonates with people so well?
Not. I guess I could say that, you know, some of the lyrics, I definitely have had some people send me messages and say, you know, really, you know, big thanks, and it was kind of helping them through a part of their life, and that was pretty profound for me and kind of priceless. I was like, yeah, well, thank you for listening. Music wise, I think while we are in what some people would consider to be an extreme metal or a death metal or even a thrash metal at times kind of thing, I think we do definitely bring our own sound to the table in a way, and there's definitely a lot of emotional content there that people can grab a hold of, and that was always the thing with me, is like, I do practice and try to get and stay up on my instrument and be as a good as player as I can. But also at the end of the day, it's about, you know, giving somebody those feelings, like whether it be goosebumps on your arms or even a tear in your eye, or maybe you feel enraged and you're going to get a speeding ticket or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. I think that's important. For me anyways, when I'm trying to put music together, I want it to have that real emotional content. And you know, if you came up with a song idea and all that stuff, I mean, there's a lot of people on the planet, there's a chance that someone else is definitely going to relate to it. You know what I mean? They're going to understand where you're coming from, and it's just a matter of getting it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever hesitate putting out music? Like, do you ever feel that um that maybe it's too personal, that it needs to be written like for you, but maybe for nobody else?
Not yet. Um, Usually, if it's really personal, then I'm like, oh yeah, you've got to do this. You've got to put that in. You know, uh, especially after play number 137 and beer like number 6 or 7. I'm like, yeah, you gotta put this shit out, man. Fuck yeah, you know. But yeah, you know, that is one of the processes, anyways. Like just listening to stuff. For the most part, so far, it's just been kind of full send on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I would even say this, and this hasn't just happened in this band. This has happened in a previous band and even the band before that, where we get finished with a song, and the other guys in the band seem to like it, but it's not quite jiving with me.
Okay.
But instead of really raising a major concern about it, I just send it, man. You know, just because I don't really see what the hell's going on here doesn't mean that someone else isn't going to really like it. So, you know, and then a lot of times that particular thing will grow on me, and I'll be like, you know what? I kind of get that now. This is pretty badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's just me trying to remain and realize that music at the end of the day is a very subjective thing. And, you just moving forward, you just have to kind of keep an open mind about that. Even if you don't get it right away. I mean, everybody can always have their bad days where we're just like, oh, I don't really care for that, it's stupid. But, for the most part, you should keep an open mind and just be like, yeah, man, I'll give it a few spins and check it out. And even if you don't care for it that much, you see people who do, and then you re-examine it and then realize that you were probably just being an asshole. I'm just joking. No, but, it's always good to keep an open mind, because even if you don't understand what they're trying to achieve with whatever it is they're doing at that very moment, it may take a year, it may take 3 years, and all of a sudden one day it just hits you over the head. Oh, yeah, that's really great.
I think it's so neat to be able to create something that's that powerful when it's not relatable to you specifically in that moment. I think it's neat to be able to like acknowledge that, see it, and still put it out there and trust that it's going to land amongst where it needs to go. Yeah, that's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing that for us and for the world. I know that we all appreciate it. I know, like, I'm not a musician, so I definitely can respect the amount of energy and time that goes into creating that. And I know that it can be therapeutic for the musician, but sometimes it's not that, and sometimes it's just, kind of shallow music. It still makes people happy. It's still therapeutic for us, right? I've heard some musicians be like, this song has like 4 lyrics and I don't even like it anymore, but you see a room full of people dancing to it, and it's like the energy is so contagious. And yeah, I've always just really respected musicians who kind of plow through it for the greater goal or whatever. So yeah, very, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and there's a lot of people out there that do say some things every now and then online, but it's all very subjective, and at the end of the day, it's entertainment.
Yeah, that's right.
That's something that when the new song comes out, that I think I said something about that in my statement, about just at the end of the day, I'm an entertainer, and this is what I'm here to do, and hopefully it entertains someone. But a lot of people need to kind of see it for what it is, and enjoy it, because that's what it's supposed to be there for. And if that's not your type of entertainment, and they're not playing your kind of music, or that's not your kind of comedy, or whatever the hell it is, you don't have to listen to it.
That's right. Yeah. I've heard a lot of things lately about, like, in a festival setting, oh, I don't like that, or I'm not into that. And my beautiful friend Calico, she's like, just go take a shit. Like, just step away for a minute. Like, just like
Wow.
it's all good, right? Like, and I don't know if she knows how profound that is. It's like, you're right. Like, we get so caught up in the whatnots. It's like, well, potentially that moment could be a really great cigarette outside, or that moment you take for yourself could be a really great conversation, or maybe it's just a cold beer, or maybe it's nothing, who knows. But like, there's beauty in not liking things as soon as people realize that it's not all about them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we're a hell of a bunch, us human beings. I tell you what.
Yeah.
A bunch of characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just a weird episode of Seinfeld, hey?
Oh yeah, a weird episode of Twilight Zone, which imagine a time. Yeah.
So please, I might have asked already, but would you just remind me, when does the new single come out?
I think it's going to come out on the 31st. I believe that's the date. Like I said, I'm so terrible with dates today. I've just been a total haze, and I've just had so much stuff going on. But I'm pretty sure it's the 31st. And I think that's the first show of the tour, and we're somewhere in California I've never heard of before. But our bassist was key in getting that one going on because it's really close to his hometown. So I'm sitting here staring at a calendar, and I'm like, there's a calendar. I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking
we'll throw
at.
it in the link after.
The interview is, I got the interview or the podcast, the thing that we're doing right now. I've got that marked on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I try, man. It's just been, like I said, especially this past month has just been total crunch time.
No, totally understandable. What platforms are you on these days? Where can the people find you at?
On Instagram. I've been trying to stay active on that as much as possible. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the usual suspects, mostly those three, but I've kind of been trying to focus myself a little bit more on Insta and TikTok.
Yeah.
It's just a little less clunky, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Facebook seems to be kind of drying up a little bit too. But, I've tried my best over the years to be interested in social media, and it's been really difficult for me. But at least I've been doing a lot more stuff with the Narcotic Wasteland YouTube channel as well. And we've been celebrating 10 years of the debut release, and I've been just doing some guitar playthroughs and stuff over there. And I've been really happy with all of the responses I've been getting. And even after I did, like, pretty much, we already had a few of the playthroughs for some of the songs, but even after that, I was getting some requests. So I've been putting a few of those. I'm going to try and get one more done before I leave.
Oh, please and thank you. Please and thank you. No, okay, so here's the thing, like, just a little fangirl moment. I was doing the Decimate countdown, and you were the first one. And so my YouTube account right now is beautiful because I've subscribed to everyone as we go, right? Checking out the music, all that good stuff. And I went down the rabbit hole of you playing over top of your stuff, and it's such an intimate moment. I was like, I feel like I am there with you. It's so neat from like an audience perspective. I almost used one of those, to be honest, because I was like, this is so like thought-provoking and interesting. And then when you said it was in honor of like the 10 years, I was like, oh, I gotta come back and like revisit this with that in the back of my mind. Because please put up another one. They're really, really neat. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I realized that of all this madness that I haven't done a playthrough for the last single we put out, which was Sex Lies DNA. And the guitar work is pretty involved, so I think it'll be a pretty good one to do. And but yeah, the thing is like I had kind of an epiphany about the whole thing. I was like, what should we do that would be kind of cool for the 10-year thing? Yeah. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, I'll just do some playthroughs because I try to practice the set list. I mean, especially before we have a stream of shows coming up, I like to practice all the songs just by myself in this very same room where I've been kind of doing all my stuff. This is what we call the war room. Yeah. It's a studio. That's where I practice, and we also have laptops, and I've got a few video games in here. I've had enough and I need a freaking break. So it's a cool little room that we put together here, and a lot of killer shit has been going on in this room. But yeah, I would be practicing the stuff anyways, and I was like, well, why not record my practices?
Yes.
So in the future too, I was thinking also I might go live with me doing a set list, but I haven't thought. been kind of thinking about that, but that would be kind of, maybe some people would be interested in that too. Just see me just go at it like for an hour and a half or something.
Yep. I think I can speak for a few people when I said we will all show out for that. Yep, absolutely. Decimate Metal Fest says yes. Yes. Yeah.
Killer,
No, for
killer, yeah.
sure.
But I
I
definitely
know a
want to try
couple
and
of
get at
people
least
that will
one more out
happily.
before we go on this tour.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mean to
No,
do that.
I was just gonna say, like, I know a couple of platforms that would happily stream that. If you're gonna stream it, we'll all share it for sure, because that would be pretty awesome.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Before we go any further, Decimate Metal Fest asks, where's your favorite place in Canada?
I don't really know that yet. I know that last year was really interesting when we played Drumheller, because I had no idea that all the crazy thing with all the dinosaur artifacts and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. I can't really give a favorite place in Canada, and I honestly couldn't give you a favorite place in the world. Really, I mean, I've been kind of all over the place. Europe, Australia, Japan, everywhere I've ever been, I just end up meeting my friends, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yep.
I feel like I end up meeting people that I feel like I've known my entire life, and that's because I have known them my entire life, because we're a bunch of metalheads, you know.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, that was very interesting, and I didn't, it hasn't been. I haven't been able to really get to Canada that much until these past couple of years. So very happy about that. But yeah, we've definitely been to Quebec. We've been to Ontario. We're going to be in Vancouver. We're coming to Decimate Metal Fest. It's killer. Definitely looking forward to it. I couldn't really say if I had a favorite or not at this point. It's all killer.
Do you have a favorite like thing about Canada? Do you find it's like you go to Canada, there's guaranteed to be, or is it like metal heads across the board? I mean, we're all pretty much the same.
Well, I mean, I would say 99.9% of the people that I've met in Canada have been very cool to me, and very hospitable and very friendly. And yeah, any of them showed up in my place, I'd be the same way.
Yeah, yes, that's cool. Yeah, we have a saying that we all eat at the same table, right? Like doesn't it, I mean, you can pull up a milk crate, it doesn't really matter, but like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll just pull up some floor.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you got to do.
Sit Indian style on the floor. I still do that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Like when you get around people that are just human beings, right? Like we're not that crazy. I mean, even outside of the metal world, like we need to stay humble, right? I mean, I'll sit on the floor, no problem, because that's where I'm most comfortable. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that's when you're doing that type of stuff, not that it's unusual, but that means like you're in the right space with the right people for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely comfortable.
Yeah, very cool. Dallas, darling, is there anything you want to add to this? Anything that the kids should know out there?
Actually, all I could say is thanks so much for supporting metal. And even if you're not into what I do and you're into other metal bands, I thank you for that. I think it's still one of the most innovative and fun and just killer music that's in the world right now. I still think it's the best. And thanks so much for not only checking me out, but just keeping metal in general alive decade after decade. I mean, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out and having a chat with us. It was absolutely my pleasure. We will see you at Decimate Metal Fest June 7th and 8th. If you guys out there haven't got your tickets, please go ahead and I'll throw a link down in the comment section. I'll be there. Dallas will be there. It'll be a great show. And aside from that, if you guys have not gone onto YouTube to subscribe, honestly, it's one of the most intimate music experiences I've had in a long time. So definitely go check them out. Thank you so much, darling. I'll see you in June.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Till then.
All right.
Okay.